Fairy Tales of Vienna with your host, Samantha B. I'm going to briefly, I say that now, talk about first dates and dating early on in a new country with international people, which is really interesting actually. Interesting from a perspective of seeing it from afar, less interesting when it's happening to you, depending on how it goes. Starting my journey here in Vienna, I have been lucky enough to stay at a language school with other international students as we navigate our broken German and share a common broken English to share our experiences. I have been spending a lot of time with some gentlemen from different countries, in particular Belgium and Turkey, and it has been interesting to say the least. For whatever reason, perhaps I'm the only girl who will talk to them, I keep being asked all of these questions regarding dating. What is it like? What are expectations and all that stuff, which is actually very endearing and adorable. Mind you, I look really young, so these people who are actually really young come to me with all of their issues or questions. For instance, it was brought up about first dates and second dates and what are the expectations, what's the understanding, how is it done in different countries. So these two gentlemen that I keep spending time with who are absolutely adorable, super young, were bringing up what dating is like in their countries. So you have one person who is from Belgium, which apparently is a very divided country, so they're from what they believe is the better half, the more city-like atmosphere half. I don't know how to say that without getting in trouble. So they're from the Flemish side. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't remember. It's been so many seconds since they brought that up again. And the other person is from Turkey. So first dates in both Belgium and Turkey. The man asks the woman out. They go out for a cup of coffee or a quick drink, something where there's an easy exit and you're not expected to stay for 12 years, and the man pays. If the woman shows interest and suggests a second date, then it is understood, never said aloud, but just understood that she's going to pay for the second date. Which, coming from the United States, to me, that's really funny. Coming from a background in dating in which the gentleman always insisted on paying for the most part. Otherwise, if you end up with someone who is always like, oh, do you have any cash on you? I don't have any money. Run far away. Run as far as you can from that person because that person's bad. But anyway, I digress. Usually for the first few dates, the gentleman pays. I always offer, but usually as an adult, the other adult insists because they're not like cheap. I don't know. That's my experience, but what do I know? So it was interesting to them because they argued like, no, if the girl shows interest and she wants a second date, she's paying. And I'm like, she's paying for a second date in which most likely you are going to talk the entire time about something like yourself or the politics of your country or other things that are fairly boring to listen to for 45 minutes to 3 hours. Curious. Another interesting thing, the Belgium in particular has been trying to find really good date spots, and he spends all of his time whenever going for food somewhere to be like, this is a good date spot. And I appreciate that they come back to me immediately and tell me I found a really good date spot. And then I go check it out because I realize that the person has no idea what they're doing. So for whatever reason, the date spots that this person keeps finding look like cafeterias. And I did understand this more if this person had just graduated high school, but they're not. They just graduated college, so they should somehow understand that women don't want to be taken to cafeteria-like atmospheres. They want the mood to be set. They want it to be cozy and for you to be able to talk back and forth and not just make them listen to you. And it should have a nice vibe. It shouldn't be like you're in the cafeteria of your high school with a tray getting tater tots. I don't even know why I had to say that out loud. I don't know why I have to keep telling this person that. But so I have now been taking note of super cute places that I end up going to for meals, for coffees, for dessert, whatever, and then reporting back to these people so that whatever girl gets suckered into going on a date with them has a shot of at least having a nice atmosphere. I'm doing this for you, fellow women out in the world, or fellow dudes that also date dudes. I'm doing this for you. I don't want you to be taken out to a romantic cafeteria setting. I also hope that your first few dates are paid for by the person who asked you out. It's kind of strange to me for someone to ask you out and then expect you to pay, especially if you're a woman. And I don't mean to sound so old-fashioned in that sense, but let me kind of break it down for you for where my mind's at. We live in a society that deems still that men are more important, so they get paid more to probably do less. Cool. They're also expected to do less of the home life things, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the family. And I don't want this whole episode to be just a rant on this stuff, but I'm just kind of throwing out some things that are happening across the board. And also, let's talk about the expectations the society has put on us across all countries for women to look like women and wear things like makeup or use products, wash our hair, get our hair cut. And for the women who are not as lucky as I am, who have to get like threading or shaved or whatever's going on, that all costs a lot of money. Money that we're not making at jobs where we're paying less to do than the male counterparts. So already, this is kind of ridiculous, right? The very least, if I'm going to dress up, put on a real bra, brush my hair, and such, and go listen to you, likely talk about yourself or something that has nothing to do with me for a long period of time, you could pony up and pay for the coffee or the one cocktail or the cake that we shared that you ate all of, and not foolishly expect me to pay for listening to you as well as what you ate. But that's just this crazy old feminine pro-women, pro-equality voice coming at you with my own experiences and thoughts. If you already have the thought that on your second plus dates that the girl should be paying while also having to pay for all of the things just to be a girl to begin with, you should probably just stay home with your parents and a cat. I don't really think you deserve to then be out there in the world trying to woo women. Let's think about this. If you want to woo a woman, do you think you have more success if you never stop talking about yourself and then insist on her paying? I'm just throwing that out there. And also put in a little effort for what you're wearing. You know the female's going to dress nicely. So you showing up like you just came from the gym? What are you, 5? Go back to high school and stay there until you've grown up a little bit. It is quite strange to have to say these things, but I keep witnessing these things out in the real world. A funny thing that was brought up, I was out with my 2 friends at are from Belgium and Turkey. And when I came back to the table, they were trying to get the other one to ask me something. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And they wanted to know about ghosting. Is it more polite to ghost somebody, or is it more polite to be direct and tell them that you're not interested? Well, listen here, friends. Ghosting is a last resort. We don't want to have to do it, but often we have to because it is the situation. Now, if a female is polite and kind, then the male might mistake that for them being interested, even if the words that they are saying directly to you say the opposite. I don't know why these wires get crossed. It is confusing and strange. For instance, I have often, and I'm always extremely direct, as you can tell, if I'm not interested in someone, I will tell them, hey, thanks for whatever. I'm not interested. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to be friends. I don't ever want to see you again. But because I didn't say this in a way in which I was like screaming or holding a knife, people will think they still have a shot and people will keep pursuing you. And then you get ghosted because that's creepy AF. So yes, I will block you from my phone, social media, my email, if I have said no to you and you continue to press as if you never heard anything I've said. If you're someone who continues to get ghosted, perhaps you should look at the pattern of what's happening on your dates. Is it because you insist on them paying all the time? Is it because you're not actually listening to the words that are coming out of their mouths in which they're directly telling you that they're not interested in you? These are things you have to consider. Dating is tough. Feel free to stay home with a book, some tissues to cry into, a cat. I don't know. It's hard out there, and different cultures expect different things, but as an elder millennial, I'll tell you what, if you're asking me out, I might say yes. But if I say no, don't make me ghost you. Thank you for joining me on this tirade of dating in an international setting on this episode of Fairy Tales of Vienna, which, by the way, have lots and lots of places for nice, romantic, cozy dates. You do not have to be stuck going to a cafeteria-like setting. And don't go Dutch if you're interested in the person that you've asked out. Until next time, listeners, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have enjoyed